Good evening, everyone. We are live and we are unhinged. That's what we're talking about tonight. Unhinged. The movie and a lot of people out there that this is happening to. So I hope people come on, have some questions, and even if it's after and you're watching this on a replay, put in a comment, share this, get this information out to people. And if you have comments and questions, I'll reply to them even after this broadcast is over. But we're going to be talking about being unhinged, inspired by the movie with Russell Crowe. Yes, I went and saw the movie this last weekend. First movie I'd seen since this whole coronavirus shut everything down. Theaters are back up and running, and I want to support theaters because I'm a longtime movie fan. So I went to the movies and had a good time. Watch out for the traffic, bro. That's right, Randy. Watch out for the traffic. I'm in the traffic jam talking about Unhinged. You know, Russell Crowe did a great job. I like Russell Crowe. You know, I'm not going to give the movie away or anything. It's a pretty simple plot. Lots of mistakes done by everybody in the movie. I won't criticize those. I'll just say it was enjoyable to go have some popcorn, sit in a dark theater. There wasn't many people there, and they were social distancing, so nobody was close to me. And I got to enjoy a movie on the big screen and got to enjoy Russell Crowe going unhinged and being sort of a psychotic, crazy character, which can happen to anyone. And that's, you know, what some of the movie posters talk about. It can happen to anyone. So if you haven't seen the movie, you know, and if you haven't even read anything about the movie, I'm not giving much away because this is in the trailer and in the descriptions that you can read online. It is about a road rage incident. Okay? How something very simple and minor turns into something extreme. Okay? And road rage happens. It is out there. And with today's tempers and the way people are fed up and they got stuff boiling inside, I would expect even more to happen. You know, a couple statistics I looked at for road rage, got it from an article by Taylor Covington in the Zebra, and this was just August 18th, 2020. So this is sort of new stuff. In this article, it talked about 66% of traffic fatalities are caused by aggressive driving. Now, that could be aggressive driver killing themselves or killing someone else. But aggressive driving is responsible for 66% of traffic fatalities, according to this article and study. Now, here's one. 37% of aggressive driving incidents involve a firearm. Okay? Makes you maybe want to think twice about who you cut off, honk your horn on, or call foul names when you're out driving. And I got a clip by my buddy Peyton Quinn I'm going to show in a little bit that really emphasizes that. So stay tuned because I'm going to show that clip with Peyton soon. But here's an interesting statistic from that article. A total of 12,610 injuries and 218 murders attributed to road rage over a 7-year period in the United States. And we know that road rage is not just a U.S. problem. It's in other countries too. But this study was done in the United States. Yes, Vicky, it is scary stuff. It's a scary movie if you go see Unhinged with Russell Crowe. I mean, that's what they tried to portray in that movie. Is it can be a scary situation. It can be terrifying, in certain things. What's causing all of this? It's a variety of things. Young men are definitely in the majority of road rage incidents, but by far they're not the only. There are older men like Russell Crowe portrays in the movie, and there are a lot of women. I was reading an article about a road rage incident involving women. They got into a scuffle and one was cut off. The woman stopped her car, got out of her car, left her baby in the car unattended as she got in the other car and used a stun gun against the woman driver who was pregnant. True story. Okay. The woman that was pregnant was okay. The baby was okay. The woman that got in her vehicle and used the handheld stun gun against her was arrested and charged. And I mean, so it's like, this is not just a young man or an old man. I mean, it's across the board. There are young and old men and women involved in these incidents, both as victims and as the people being aggressive. So what can we do about it? What can we do about it? One, we need to make sure that we control ourselves. Meditation, exercise, different things that can keep ourselves in sane capacity and not let ourselves become unhinged and go over the deep end. And all of us at times, we get so stressed that we think we're going to explode and go over the deep end. Some people do. And it can have terrifying effects to others. And it can actually, be detrimental to everyone involved. Because if you go and hurt or kill or do something to someone else, you're going to face the law. And then what's that going to do to your family when you're taken away from your family, both financially and, being locked away? Or you go off on somebody and they retaliate, and you're the one in the hospital or dead. Okay. I mean, it can have these kind of effects. Hey, Alain, it's a problem here in Brazil too. And it's one of the excuses people against guns use to try and rob us of our rights. Okay. It's a problem worldwide. And sadly, we look at, over a third of the incidents involve firearms. And I'm all for responsible firearm ownership. But if people are going out and getting in a road rage incident and pulling a weapon to intimidate and or kill other people, we can't have that. And that's why we have to check our own emotions and keep ourselves in control. Okay. Now, one of the things we can do to prevent becoming a victim of a road rage incident is to be nice and maybe have a little compassion for other people and realize it's a tough fight. We're all in a tough fight. And maybe we have a little compassion and we let something slide. And we don't go against it with more aggression, which only escalates things to a higher level. So we need to be careful just because somebody cuts us off or does something wrong, that we don't, let's give them some sign language and say something to them. Maybe we just keep our mouth shut, let them go. That's the safe thing to do, especially if you have a lot to lose. Family, job, friends, your life. We all have a lot to lose. So being nice is really important. Maybe keeping our mouth shut, keeping our feelings and not retaliating. Peyton, I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show this video and I'm getting ready to show it. Peyton taught this years ago. It's an old video. I have it on VHS. Got it from Paladin. They were the distributor. And Peyton talked about why you maybe should be nice. So let's listen to Peyton's advice that we have here.
Tell you of what 50 years on planet Earth has shown me, and some of that was as a bouncer when I saw plenty of physical violence and all the different kinds of people there are in this world. For one thing, I'm nice to people. I never say something like, fuck you. Because you know how some people will respond? Well, they'll respond like this. No, fuck you.
Okay. Peyton has a way with words, doesn't he? He is a great guy to sit around the fire with a beer and telling stories at night. I'll tell you, we've had some really great nights telling stories. The guy's a great storyteller, and he's been there, done that, and he knows a heck of a lot about violence. And that little piece of wisdom right there is worth more than its weight in gold, because it can keep you alive. As I said, in that 7-year period, over 12,000 injuries, but 218 people murdered over road rage incidents. And I'm telling you, getting cut off, having somebody do something that, pisses you off in traffic, it's not worth dying over. It's not worth going to the hospital over and having your family worry about you and maybe losing income because you can't work, or, your family loses you entirely. Not worth it. So Peyton's words of wisdom are worth more than their weight in gold. We have to control ourselves. That's all we can do. Now, yes, if you're in a situation and you can't drive away and escape, and somebody's coming at you mad about something you did, maybe you did it inadvertently and by accident, the first thing we want to do is see if we can diffuse the situation. Yes, it may get to a point where we have to defend ourselves, but most things can be diffused by being compassionate and having some assertive language. Not asking you to be passive. Passive will often get you beat up, but we can be assertive, and that's not crossing the line to aggressive, but we can be assertive and often diffuse situations. Go to YouTube, do a search on Peyton Quinn, Alain Baris. You'll see a video of Peyton and I was assisting Peyton in a class, and he talks about the passive and the assertive and aggressive and different things like that. And I have videos out there where I teach that as well. Okay. Assertive. We can diffuse it in the situation. And it might mean saying you're sorry and apologizing for something that maybe you inadvertently did and you didn't do it on purpose. But I'm telling you, saying you're sorry, apologizing, and going home a lot better than some of the alternatives. Watch that movie Unhinged. If you don't see it in a theater, get it later and just look at what could have been adverted, what could have maybe just been smoothed out with a simple apology, a simple, sincere apology, even if you don't think you're wrong. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Had another comment. Holy crap, he had a loaded gun there. Yeah, he did. And he made a good point with that too. The person that you tell off may be carrying a loaded gun as well. Okay. You think it's just going to be words. And some people are like that. They think the violent words are where it's going to stop. But there are people out there where you say the violent words, they might punch you in the mouth, or they might pull a gun and shoot you. If you're playing the wrong script with the wrong person, it might go terribly wrong and you can be hurt or killed. Hey, Tim, thanks. Appreciate the comment. Appreciate you being here. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today, is that we need to control ourselves. And if you are stressed out, and a lot of people are stressed out these days, and we have rightfully a reason to be stressed out. With the COVID situation and the things that have been taken away from us, and we can't do things normal, and things we were planning on and counting on, including a paycheck, are gone for some people. That's enough to stress you out. It's enough to make you a little angry. But if you're behind the wheel, we can't let those feelings get to a point where we're going to drive aggressively, and where we're going to get in a situation and make a situation worse because of our feelings and turn into something terrible. And if we run across somebody that's having that bad day, remember, a little compassion, maybe an apology when we don't really even think we need to apologize. If that's enough to let us go home to our families and others safely, it's probably worth doing. And I'm not asking people to let others walk all over you. You know I'm not like that. I want people to have a pair and stand up for what's right. But there's also a time where what's right is just saying, my bad, I'm sorry, have a nice day, and go on your way. Sometimes it's not worth getting stupid over something that doesn't really matter. Okay, right? So let's all see what we can do to keep ourselves calm and controlled, especially when we're behind a wheel. And let's think about others and what they might be going through. Have a little compassion, be nice, and we can minimize some of the violence that's occurring. Like Russell Crowe said in the movie, maybe you just don't know what a bad day is, but I'm going to teach you. You run across the wrong person, and they just might teach you what being a bad day really is, and you won't like the consequences. Like the clip with Peyton, you might just be dead quick as that. It happens. There are some people, they won't think twice about it. You run up against one of those, and it could be all over just because you opened your mouth and said something that you really shouldn't have or didn't need to. You are welcome, Shauna. Appreciate you being here. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's almost been 20 minutes. I like to go 20 or 30 minutes unless I have a special guest like Mark McYoung that we filled over an hour with. If you haven't seen that video, it's on the Facebook pages. It's on the YouTube channel. Check out that interview with Mark we did a couple weeks ago. A lot of fun. Going to have a great interview coming up this week for all martial art school owners. Going to be talking with Chief Master Thomas Gordon about schools during the COVID process and things that can be done to keep your school open and keep your students engaged and keep your business operating if you're a martial arts school owner during this troublesome time. Some schools have had to close. I'm lucky I work out of a health center, a gym. So, my teaching, we were closed for a while, but it didn't hurt me personally financially like a school owner, it could do. So we're going to do that on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Vicky says, good words to live by. Yep, be nice, be compassionate. Always good words to live by. Treat others that way, and not only does it make the world a better place, it'll keep you more safe. And it is just so much better to go through life engaging with others in a positive, friendly, nice, compassionate manner, and maybe you can change their bad day, make it a little bit better, and you'll prevent something bad from happening later. You ever think about that? There are stories out there where people were right on the edge, and a kind word or something from someone else kept them from going over. I had actually one of those a little while back. A guy on Facebook wrote me saying because of our interactions and some of the words that I said to him, it kept him from doing something that he would have regretted because he wouldn't be here anymore. So if we can do that to other people, hey, that makes the world way, way, way better. Thanks, Marty. I appreciate that. Hey, Scott, it's better to control your emotions than your emotions control you. Definitely. I actually just made a post recently on one of my pages with that sentiment that we need to control our emotions or they control us. And somebody commented on that post saying that our opponents can use our emotions against us too if we're not careful. So that's always good as well. My school, wow, has been a journey through the Parks and Rec. We have 2 major Aikido sister dojos closed down due to the high rent. Yeah, I mean, and that stuff's going on all over the place, Stephen. And I'm hoping that, as Chief Master Tom Gordon on Wednesday on the interview with him, he can provide some insights, things that have worked for his school, and that can maybe help other school owners that are going through tough times as well. You are very welcome. Yep, it's high stress for a lot of people right now. Extremely high stress for some folks. And we need to remember that. And if we can be compassionate, nice to others, maybe we can prevent some of that. And maybe we can prevent some bad things from happening, both to ourselves and to others. That's the bottom line. Keep ourselves safe. But if we can do something that prevents other people from getting harmed or from doing things that are terrible, hey, that's what we need to be doing. Appreciate that, Stephen. Yeah, I think they're doing some good stuff at Thomas's school, and I'm hoping he'll be able to help a lot of people with the insights that he can share on that. I'll be posting a preview thing of that probably tomorrow, and then it'll be live. I believe we're going to go 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time because that's what worked for him and his schedule, if I remember correctly. But I'll be posting some of that tomorrow, and it'll be Wednesday evening that'll be live. All right, everybody. I've been on for over 20 minutes. I really appreciate everybody that joined and commented. Oh, and I got another comment that I'm going to read before I leave. I think if we all consider some of the most successful moments in our lives were definitely due to our ability to stop and think how taking a moment to emphasize with others made those moments to happen. Wow. Thank you, Lawrence, for sharing that. That is an awesome statement. And I think it's very true that if all of us could stop and think a moment, we probably come with those. And Marty says, this is a time to reach out to people we care about, and if you haven't talked to them a long time, connect with your tribe. You are welcome, Marty, and I agree. We need to connect with people. We need to stay connected and help those, especially those that are going through some tough ones, because it might make all the difference. It really might. That one kind word, one reaching out to somebody might make all the difference in the world. And that's pretty powerful. And we all have the ability to do it. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate everybody on here. Have a great night. I am going to sign off for now. Keep coming to these lives. Share them with others. Let's help more people. All right? Appreciate all of you. Have a fantastic night. And don't become unhinged.